Hey guys, it's TFNet. Welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to be taking a look at the brand new Marvel Legends series Hasbro Pulse exclusive Fan Vote Winner 2020 Silk figure. So this was the winner of the fan vote for Marvel Legends 2020 this year. I believe the runners-up were Lady Sif and the white version of Elektra. I know a lot of people wanted those versions of those characters. I hope we do get them eventually. I could see them being Walgreens exclusives or maybe even Hasbro Pulse exclusives. Hopefully we'll get them somehow. But I don't have Silk. I've always really wanted to get the Silk figure. I was never able to find a lot of the Space Venom wave from 2016 in stores, so me personally, I'm just glad to finally have Silk in my collection. So one thing interesting about the packaging here is that I wouldn't say it's generic, but it just doesn't really specify who won. That's because they wanted to make the packaging not super personalized so they could get the fan vote winner out this year. And honestly, I don't mind that. I'm going to be taking out the packaging anyway. I think that's a pretty smart idea. So let's just go ahead and talk about the packaging. Here's the top half of the front here. It just says Legend Series. You can see the figure in the box with some of the accessories that she comes with. You can see some of the characters in the backdrop there, like Hulk and Black Widow and all that. Towards the bottom there, you can see where it says Fan Vote Winner, Marvel. It says Hasbro right there. On this side here, it's got really nice artwork of a bunch of different Marvel characters from Thanos to even Silk herself. And Spider-Man towards the bottom, just a bunch of other characters I'm not going to name right now. On this side, we also have some more characters like Bullseye, Hawkeye, some other characters as you can see there. On the top flap here, it does say Marvel. It has a warning there, and it says 4 and up. On the back here, it's a really nice image of just a lot of Marvel characters all being grouped up together. I think that's really cool. And then towards the bottom here, it has the barcode, which I mean you're not really going to need because this is a Hasbro Pulse exclusive. You're not going to find this in another store, but there you go if you need it. So let's go ahead and get this figure out of the packaging. So here is Silk out of the packaging, and I think they did a pretty good job with this figure. I'm very glad to finally have Silk in my collection. I do think that this figure shares some problems that previous female figures have in the past, but I mean, I just think that Hasbro doesn't really perfect female figures all that well, you know what I mean? But anyway, still pretty well done. Let's go ahead and take a look at all the accessories that she comes with, and we'll take a closer look at the figure. So correct me if I'm wrong, but I think she has a little bit more accessories, at least with the hands, than I think the previous one. We have this web effect hand here, where she's shooting the webs out of her fingers. This is pretty cool. I do think that some of the paint's a little sloppy around here. There's some black on the white, some red on the white there, some white going into this finger where it almost looks like it's cut off. But this effect does kind of look cool. I do like the sculpting on there. I just wish sculpting could be a little bit better. It's really nicely sculpted down here though, and it doesn't really have any articulation as you can see here. We also have a pair of open gripped hands here. I guess this is just for holding maybe like some web effects for Marvel Legends if you have any. We've got these hands with females plenty of times. They have red on the fingers and just mostly molded in black. And then we have a pair of fists, which you also get with some Marvel Legend females a good number of the time. Same thing going on here, red on the fingers. Very basic black sculpt going on with the hands. Now she comes packaged with this, little bandana, this handkerchief right here. That is loose. You could pop the head off. I'll leave it on for now. Pop the head off and take this off. It's just molded in red. But we do have an alternate head for when she puts up her mask. As you can see, they are looking pretty nice. So this head sculpt has very similar sculpting to the head on the body. We do have some nice shading. I don't know if this is blue or white, but it's just some nice shading going on in the hair here. It could be a little overdone in some areas, but it doesn't look too bad. The eyes are nicely printed, I think, and the mask came out pretty clean. So pretty good amount of accessories. So here's a 360 look at Silk. I'm going to tell you right now, there really isn't much new. Not only is this pretty much using the same body from before with the previous Silk, it's using a body that's used with a pretty good amount of Marvel Legends females to where I can't even tell you all the ones that are using this body. But it still looks really nice. At least this head sculpt is just really well done, you know? Now, I think I got something going on. You can see right there on the cheek right there. Something's going on. I don't know if that's something with the sculpting. Let me look at that. I think that might be... I don't know if it's supposed to be sculpted like that. I think that might be an error. So there's a little bit of a scar right there, unfortunately. But that's fine. It's not super duper noticeable. Only in certain lighting you can see, really see it. I think the lip color came out really nice. The eyes are also really nicely painted on there. The hair... So it kind of like, there's just areas where it's not really consistent with the shading in the hair. As you can see right here, it's a little lighter. I think it's darker here, just a little too drastically. It's not like that throughout the whole thing though. Well, I might have spoken too soon. It looks like there's not that much going on here compared to here. The sculpting of it though is really clean. I think they did a really good job, especially this long strand right here. I think is really well done. So the bandana, again, nicely sculpted. It's just a very basic red, as you can see there. It will kind of cover, some of the chest a little bit, so that's what the details look like right there. And, I mean, it really isn't that bad, though. So you just, yikes, now it's stuck. Come on, get out of there. All right, so the chest, I think, is actually really well done when it comes to the paint. They do a really good job with the red and then separating it with the black in some of the areas. I just think it looks really good. The white also comes out very clean. It splotches a little bit towards the hip right here. So that's a little unfortunate, but it really isn't that noticeable. So some of the red does look like it's kind of streaking up a little bit, but it's also pretty minor. I don't know if that's how it's supposed to be. And if it is, that's a pretty nice attention to detail right there. But I don't really think it is. I could be completely wrong though. Let me know in the comments. But there's no paint on the back. There really isn't anything. It's just very basic black sculpt. There's a peg hole right there on the back, and then we have some nice white going on the shoulders right there, which is actually really nicely painted, except the seam lines for the sculpt there kind of get in the way. So that's a little unfortunate. Very basic forearms with just molded black. Now, these are the open hands she came packaged with, as you can see there. So that's pretty nice. You can see the red. Really nice paint on the red for the fingers right there. Some of the sculpting kind of clumps up a little bit in certain areas, but I think overall it's not super noticeable. We move down towards the legs here, and you can see these white streaks. I don't think these were on the previous one. I could be completely wrong though. These are just actually, they're pretty well done. They even continue on the back here, and the serial printing's on the inside of the thigh, which I'll have to try to take off later. It's just very basic white paint. There's not much special going on here. It does break the skull, it does break that, design when you move the articulation, which does kind of suck, but it's not the end of the world. There really isn't much else going on. It's just kind of a little bit of muscles here and there for the legs, like we usually get with this body for females, but there really isn't any additional details. The shoes do have some paint on them. The white splotches a little bit, but it's not a horrible amount. There's even some white on the back of the feet. So I kind of sound like this is a generic figure overall, and that's just mostly because of the body that's being done. The paint on here is pretty solid for the most part, say for a few splotches. It's just that with comic figures, Hasbro doesn't, it depends on the comic figure now, but like previous comic figures, they just kind of, I don't want to say they were lazy, which, I mean, Hasbro could be pretty lazy, but it just doesn't seem like put that much effort into making it much different besides adding some paint. It still, to me, looks pretty good, and the articulation is overall pretty decent. So this way the hair is sculpted will get in the way of the back of the articulation for the head, but the head goes down pretty nicely, as you can see. It does have a little bit of space in the head, so it has this somewhat of a pivot, and it does rotate. The arms do go all the way around. They will go in and out here at the shoulder. We do have a single joint elbow with a swivel at the elbow, and you can get 90 degrees out of that. You get the swivel at the wrist, hinge at the wrist. I believe this is for all hands except for the web effect hand. We do have a ball jointed waist, which will break up the paint, as you can see there for the design. The back is actually really good. The forward could be better. Side to side like so. It will also rotate like I already said. So this is really stiff, but the leg will go forward about that far. It kind of rotates when you go farther. Back sort of, not really that great. In and out like this. Upper thigh swivel. We do have a double jointed knee. The bend at the foot right here that goes down, and for some reason won't go up that far. And then it's really tight for both of my ankles, but we do have the ankle rocker. So for size comparisons, on the left we have the new Retro Wave Spider-Man. On the right we have the new Carnage figure. Both of these figures scale pretty well with her. I think they're all about the same height. She might be a little bit smaller. Here's what she looks like with a G.I. Joe classified Snake Eyes. And on the right, we have the Spider-Man Noir figure from Marvel Legends. And then on the left, we have the Infinity War Black Widow. And on the right, we have the 2018 Comics Domino. Then last but not least, on the left, we have the Marvel Legends Stan Lee. And on the right, we have the new movie Deadpool figure. So to end this review, I'm going to show you what this figure looks like with some of her accessories as well as other Marvel Legends figures. So this is a pretty solid figure. I am happy to have it in my collection, but unfortunately it shares issues with previous female Marvel Legends. The ankles and the hips are kind of wonky and stiff to where she doesn't really want to stay on her own very well, and posing her can sometimes be a chore. It's just that Marvel Legends females, to me, I could be so much better. I like a lot of female characters in the Marvel universe, and I think that we have been getting improvements over the years with certain Marvel Legends females, but when it's on a more generic female body like this, it just kind of is off-putting. But again, it's really well done with the paint and the accessories that she comes with. It's still silk. I'm very happy to have it in my collection. Now, this is a $20 figure that you can only get on Hasbro Pulse's website. After shipping and tax, that might come out to a little over 25, 26 bucks. I'm not entirely sure, but I think it might still be up for sale because I didn't realize this was actually up for sale until Hasbro PulseCon. They announced that they were just releasing the pre-order just like that, so I pre-ordered it, and it shipped pretty quick. So she should be in stock. If she's sold out, that's unfortunate, but if she's sold out, they'll hopefully make some more. Thank you guys very much for watching. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Comment down below what you think about the figure, what you think about the review. Leave a like, share them with extra friends, and I will see you guys later.